Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. OPP have made an arrest in connection to a video that shows a group of men firing semi-automatic guns off a bridge in Muskoka. Plus, a major forestry company in the north is limiting its lumber output.
I think the frustrating thing is that so much faith has been put in the relationship between Canada and the U.S. over the last number of years.
Interfor says it's partly because of ongoing economic uncertainty. And making room for more doctors in the north.
Northern Ontario School of Medicine has shown us that if you train them here, if you offer residency here, they stay here.
We'll have the latest on changes made at Nawsum University.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. We begin in North Bay, where fire crews were called to an apartment building on Drew Street this morning. According to the fire department, there was an extensive fire on the second floor of the building. The fire was put out quickly as crews made sure everyone got out of the building. The fire caused extensive damage to the facility, but no one was hurt. The cause of the blaze is under investigation. Meantime, North Bay police are asking for the public's help after a break-in last night in the Douglas Street and Rose Avenue area. Around 9 p.m., they received a call from a homeowner who had come home to find an intruder inside. The suspect fled before police could arrive. The suspect is described as a white male in their 20s, approximately 5'9" tall, wearing a dark-colored hat and sunglasses. Anyone with information, dash cam or home security footage from that area is asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. Well, bad news for those on Lake Apsey south of Espanola. Public Health Sudbury and Districts is warning people about the presence of blue-green algae. The Espanola water treatment plant has an effective barrier for the algae and is able to reduce the levels of toxins in the water, but those in the area not drawing from the municipal water supply aren't protected. Public Health is reminding people not to use water from the lake and that boiling it does not remove the algae or its toxins. 2 people have been charged in Kirkland Lake in connection to copper thefts in the area. OPP launched an investigation in July after 3 separate thefts from mine sites and railway infrastructure. Through their investigation, police were able to link the 3 incidents to a 46-year-old woman and a 36-year-old man from Kirkland Lake. The pair have been charged with 3 counts each of breaking and entering and theft over $5,000. Police estimate the damage in stolen property was more than $200,000. A 78-year-old man from Plummer Additional Township is facing charges for threatening to shoot township staff and council. According to the OPP, the township's building official and council members had received threats via text message on August 29th. The investigation determined they came from Copper Bay Road. Police say it had to do with a years-long dispute over building permits. The senior has been released with a court date next month in Elliott Lake. OPP have made an arrest after a video shared online showing a group of men firing semi-automatic firearms off a bridge into the forest in Muskoka. The video made headlines. Now provincial police say they've arrested a 24-year-old man from Brampton. He's charged with careless and unsafe use of firearms. His firearms license and weapons have been seized. He's expected back in court October 7th. Police say they're still looking for more information from the public about the incident. It was an emotional day in Sudbury and a courtroom as members of one family read a victim impact family statements prior to the sentencing of Kyle Smith, found guilty of second-degree murder. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
5 members of Patrick McGregor's family spoke in court today of how his death 4 years ago has impacted their lives. Their statements were part of the sentencing submission from the Crown. Earlier this year, a jury found 36-year-old Kyle Smith guilty of the September 2021 murder in Sudbury. During the 3-week trial back in February, Smith testified to killing McGregor, claiming the stabbing was in self-defense. McGregor had been stabbed in the neck while driving his car in the parking lot of the Esso gas station on LaSalle and Notre Dame. When he got out of the vehicle, it was used by Smith to run him down. The two were known to each other, and the dispute was connected to drugs. Smith admitted to being under the influence at the time. Statements were read by McGregor's siblings, his two children, and his mother, who says her life was shattered when she found out about her son's death, adding that the tragedy has had a crippling impact on her life. Defense submitted letters from two of Smith's daughters, his institutional and health records, as well as a volume of case laws for the judge to consider. Smith was also found guilty of dangerous driving, causing bodily harm. Second-degree murder carries an automatic life sentence in prison, but the judge will decide how long before Smith is eligible for parole. The defense is suggesting 13 years, while the Crown is asking for 16. Angela Campbell, CTV News, Sudbury.
One of the world's largest forestry companies is cutting its lumber output in North America for the rest of the year. Interfor operates 5 sites in the Northeast from Sault Ste. Marie to Elk Lake. It's unknown what this means for each location, but union officials say a deal needs to be done before these slowdowns become the norm. CTV's Corey Nordstrom reports.
In an official media release, Interfor announced that from September to December, they will reduce lumber production in North America by 145 million board feet, or roughly 12% of normal operations. In the Northeast, the company has sites in the Sioux, Gogama, Timmins, Nairn Center, and Elk Lake. Unifor reps for the Sioux mill say there has already been workforce reductions of varying types across most mills. Those in the Sioux affected a third of employees and are set to end on September 8th.
There was around 60 workers that weren't impacted, mostly in trades and the senior shifts. And then the other shift were junior workers. They took every second week off, collected unemployment, and then ran a production week. So the total impact over a 2-month period was around 3 or 4 weeks of downtime on EI, but they weren't totally laid off for that period of time.
Interfor officials declined an interview, but the media release stated that they would enact production curtailments through a combination of reduced operating hours, prolonged holiday breaks, reconfigured shifting schedules, and extended maintenance shutdowns. It's also noted that this is a result of persistently weak market conditions and ongoing economic uncertainty.
There's always going to be recessions and there are always going to be slowdowns. I think the frustrating thing is that so much faith has been put in the relationship between Canada and the U.S. over the last number of years, and to see your best friend turn on you and create an economic crisis to try to hurt you, that's a little bit disheartening to everybody.
Boone does not know the exact plans for how workers in the Sioux will be impacted by the latest decision from their company, but remains optimistic this doesn't stretch beyond the end of the year and hopes government action can help the badly wounded softwood lumber industry.
If Trump implements more tariffs on other than the softwood lumber duties that we're currently facing on, say, pulp and paper or OSB, obviously then we're going to have to react, and we're also going to have to react as a country and as a government to retaliate or to put pressure on the Americans to try to reach some kind of compromise.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
One mother is speaking out about safety concerns following an incident that took place at the Smoke in Spurs event in Mattawa over the long weekend. She says the incident involved an ATV striking her and her 11-year-old son, as well as other festival goers during the mud bog racing event. Melissa Pye says they were standing by this fence as the bleachers were full when an ATV coming out of the mud ran through the fence, striking 5 people, leaving the group with minor injuries. She says first responders acted quickly. However, they were brought to hospital as a precaution.
A lot of people want to put blame on the driver, which I've been in contact with her. She's a very sweet woman. She's a mother of kids as well, and she wants to give her heartwarming apology to everyone out there. Nobody here is to blame. It's an accident. Accidents happen. They could have been prevented, yes. But things like this have to happen, I guess, for us to learn from. And it's a good thing that nobody actually seriously got injured.
CTV News reached out to event organizers who declined to interview. They did provide a statement via Facebook. It says in part, quote, all drivers, including the driver of the ATV in the collision, passed a breathalyzer test before continuing the event. Our team put in place new safety protocols promptly that allowed the show to go on. The safety of our guests is always our top priority, and we're proud of how quickly everyone worked together to ensure a safe outcome. Pai says her and her son continue to recover from their injuries. Meantime, she says she still hasn't received an apology from organizers. She hopes by speaking out, bigger safety measures can be taken for future events. Well, theft and vandalism continue to be issues for a nonprofit and a charity in Sudbury that accept donations to help clothe people and care for animals. Closet Share recently had to send donations to the dump, while PetSave has been forced to move garbage bins off-site and is asking people to follow its donation policy. CTV's Elena Everson reports.
Over the long weekend, this donation bin at Closet Share was broken into, with clothing stolen and strewn around the parking lot. 60 bags ended up in the dump.
Single week. This past week they broke into the donation bin and broke the lock right off, and the clothes were everywhere. Feces, urine, vomit, needles, blood, everything that we had to clean up come Tuesday this week.
Porter says the nonprofit relies on donations, and recycling clothing is part of its mission.
So unfortunately we had to take all those clothing and throw them in the trash. And again, that is not something that we do lightly here at Closet Share. We focus on ensuring that we alleviate the textiles from ending up in landfills.
Closet Share now asks that all donations be dropped off during business hours. Over at the PetSave retail thrift store, donations can only be made in person during the week from 10 to 4. That's when there are more volunteers on site and to avoid other issues.
We ask that you don't drop off outside of those hours because if there's no one here to accept them, then we find people are going through them, leaving a big mess in the parking lot, and then ultimately it becomes garbage because we don't know what's left in them.
The store no longer keeps garbage bins on site because of hazards. It also costs the charity to haul it away.
Even with locks and chains and strong locks, people were breaking in and causing severe damage to the bin itself, which we had to incur the cost for. And it just became a hazard because everything that was in the bin was now thrown throughout the parking lot, which is added extra work for our volunteers having to clean up, and we would be finding needles and all sorts of stuff, unwanted stuff.
While PetSave and Closet Share say they are very grateful for the community support they rely on. They hope people will drop off during business hours so donations can end up where they are intended to. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick, we'll have your full weather forecast. For now, a look at the current conditions and the weather warnings we have in place tonight. That area in purple is a wind warning that affects Manitoulin Island, parts of the North Shore, and the Highway 69 the corridor. Damage to buildings is possible. Be careful. The winds could get north of 100 kilometers an hour. The Chi-Chi-Mon issued a notice tonight, adding it may not even sail tomorrow depending on conditions. So it could be a good idea to check first the rest of the area under a special weather statement with strong winds of 70 to 90 kilometers possible. Moving over to current conditions, we've got 8 in Kapuskasing, 8 in Timmins. Some rain starting to move its way into Wawa and Chapleau. We've got partly cloudy conditions down on the island. We'll have details in a moment.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, the precipitation is back in northeastern Ontario for tomorrow. We'll get into some of the numbers in regards to what you could expect, but also a wind advisory issued by Environment Canada for several sections, and we'll also address that as well. Here's a system with rain moving in, and of course that will be whipped around with higher winds, in some cases 50 to 90, depending on where you live. But the only areas right now that are not affected, Timmins and Sault Ste. Marie. So let's take a look at some of the numbers now. 7-day forecast, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain in Greater Sudbury Nickel Belt, high winds as well. Chance of showers Saturday, Sunday chance of showers, more of the same on Monday, the odd sunny break. 14 degrees all 3 days, and 17 Tuesday and Wednesday, some cloud cover, maybe the chance of showers for Wednesday as well. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain, 13 for tomorrow, 13 as well on Saturday. Chance of showers at 60%. That's a pretty good bet. Sunday, chance of showers. Monday, sunshine. I like that. 16 degrees the high. Tuesday, some cloud cover and 18. In Timmins Cochrane Campus Casing, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain, 12 degrees your high for tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, chance of showers both days, 60% on Sunday. That's a very good bet there. Your high only 9. Warming up though, Monday, 13 degrees, 17 on Tuesday, chance of showers both days, and Wednesday, some cloud cover at 15. How about Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain for tomorrow. And again, 13 your high, some gusting winds, so be careful with that. Saturday, Sunday, chance of showers at 40%. Monday, chance of showers at 30%. Then warming up Tuesday, some cloud cover at 18. Wednesday, chance of showers dropping down to 16. Of course, both days still below normal for this time of the year. And finally, North Bay West Nipissing, showers for tomorrow, but gusting winds, risk of a thunderstorm. Saturday, Sunday, chance of showers at 40% both days, 15 and 14 your highs. 14 on Monday as well, chance of showers. Tuesday, warming up to a beautiful 19, sun and cloud. Wednesday, chance of showers at 17, still below normal for this time of the year. So, once again, Ian, here we go. Back with the rain for tomorrow and gusting winds, as you had alluded to earlier. It'll be an interesting day. Remember, stay safe. Back to you.
It's going to be windy. Thanks, Rick. Well, library use in Kirkland Lake is on hold for the moment. The Tech Centennial Library posting over its social media feeds earlier today that it is temporarily closed until further notice. No word on why, but it'll include both the children's and adult departments, and that updates will be forthcoming. Not enough doctors in the north. We regularly hear those words. This week, the Northern Ontario School of Medicine announced an increase in residency programs and an increase in availability for 2028 future doctors here in the north. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
Northern Ontario is short 350 doctors, according to the Ontario Medical Association.
The government has known that. They know that we have this shortage. We know that some really important specialties are not available in the north.
In response to the shortage, NOSM will be increasing student intake from 64 to 108. And incoming residents from 60 to 123.
People may or may not know, but the province really directs how many people we admit to the medical school every year. It's not up to us.
We have a university who's willing and able to take on more students. We have students who want those positions. We have patients who need those physicians to look after them. And we have a government who says, well, you'll have to wait for another 3 years before we will give you money to be able to take on more students.
Dr. Green says that the increase in student admissions will help fill in the gap in healthcare in Northern Ontario, as many students who graduate from the program and residency stay in the north.
Over 90% of our applicants are from Northern Ontario. We have a lot of Francophone and Indigenous students who are studying with us. And over half of our students who come into our undergraduate programs, that's the 4 years where they are in the MD program, end up working long-term in Northern Ontario.
If they do this in Northern Ontario, the chances that they stay in Northern Ontario goes up exponentially. So this is a win-win for us. Northern Ontario School of Medicine has shown us that if you train them here, if you offer residency here, they stay here. And they provide good care. What are we waiting for?
Jelena says that she is happy with the provincial government adding additional seats to NOSM University. However, she criticizes the 3-year waiting time before it is implemented, saying that Canadians are feeling the burden of the medical system. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
An arbitrator has awarded Ontario's hospital nurses pay increases of just over 5% over 2 years. The decision impacts about 60,000 hospital nurses. The Ontario Nurses Association has slammed the arbitrator's decision not to include new requirements around staffing ratios. The union says that sends a message to nurses that they don't deserve the same safety in numbers as other frontline workers in dangerous professions. The hospitals had argued that the union's staffing ratio proposals were unrealistic and didn't take into account care from other health professionals. The arbitrator said nurses have other mechanisms to raise concerns about staffing levels. The Timmins and District Hospital has a never-ending need for locums, physicians who can fill in for others who are on vacation or away from their jobs for other reasons. But the hospital's chief of staff says it's not a cause for alarm, rather it ensures services are always available. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
The Timmins and District Hospital frequently advertises its need for physicians who can fill in for others. Recently, it posted a list of about 12 specialties, including anesthesiology, pediatrics, psychiatry, and general surgery, that all require locums, doctors who fill in for others who are off or away. Dr. Doug Arnold is the Chief of Staff and Vice President of Medicine at Timmins and District Hospital. He says the requirement for locums is increasing because the shortage of physicians is a nationwide issue.
So when everyone else is struggling, we're going to struggle even more.
However, TADH doesn't let that get in the way of ensuring services continue, and that's because it works at attracting and compensating locums.
We do a very good job at making sure that we have 24/7 coverage. So it's, we haven't had to close any services. We have had our challenges. We have met the challenges. Our senior leadership and our board are well aware of our challenges and support us in our efforts because they also don't want to see us with gaps in our coverage.
Arnold says that would mean patients would have to travel out of town for care. Arnold adds the locum program is also a recruiting strategy.
They come, they get a chance to test out our environment, what it's like to work here, and we have had some success over the years of then attracting them to set up a full-time practice.
3 new physicians recently joined Timmins and District Hospital, and the goal is to hire 10 this fiscal year. Arnold says for a medium-sized hospital, TADH provides more services than many others the same size. But the challenge that comes with that is staffing. However, Arnold adds if doctors take TADH up on one of its locum opportunities, he's certain they'll seriously consider relocating. TADH currently has 90 full-time physicians, of which about 40 are family doctors. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Still ahead tonight on CTV News. A new chapter for a youth center in Sudbury, which marked its grand reopening. More on that in a moment. It was a beautiful day for a free community barbecue as a youth center in Sudbury celebrated its grand reopening today. Operating from September to June, Ryan Heights Youth Center has been closed for the last 2 months to allow for various upgrades. Some of the renovations include new flooring, new games, and murals designed by local artist Monique Legault. The project was made possible through various donations and volunteer efforts.
There's just excitement everywhere. Watching the kids come in was amazing. The value of this project, I think, far supersedes even the time and money put in. I think it's really going to be embraced by the community. It's really going to be loved by the kids. And just watching their faces come in today has been just, absolutely worth the 8 months.
Being a muralist in town, I often get to do work that's more public, and so a space like this that's just for a specific group of people, that's for a specific area, and I kind of loved it. I love the fact that we got to enhance this space for them.
I like that it has a floor now. It used to be just concrete, but now we have free flooring that we got through donation, and we have a beautifully painted room that has a lot of color and brings a lot of vibes to the atmosphere.
More than 30 youth ages 10 to 18 regularly attend the Ryan Heights Youth Center. The city of Greater Sudbury will be reviewing a report next week on the creation of a solar farm north of the city. Sudbury Airport Solar LP has proposed building a solar energy project on 62.7 hectares of land near the municipal airport in Garson. The project is in response to an independent electricity system operator request for proposals which requires buy-in from the municipality before it can move ahead. The recommendation to council is to provide the written support to Sudbury Airport LP with the hope the proposal will be chosen by the Crown Corporation. And it looked like finally a fun time in Englehart tonight. Tonight marked the opening of the 116th annual Fall Fair. Doors opened this evening at 6 o'clock. There was nail driving contests, jugglers, food vendors, and all sorts of fun put on by the Englehart and District Agricultural Society, and it's going to be running all weekend. I was looking at some of the video earlier tonight. I think I saw some awesome looking donuts in one of those shots. It should be a fun time. They've got all the details up on their Facebook page. That takes us to the end of our newscast this Thursday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website at ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. Thanks for watching. Good night.